Hello there and welcome back to another sketching drawing video. We are cracking on with the boo. I've got some new colours, so I'm actually finally able to do these boos. Now, jumping straight into it, I'm leaving this inking one in. Usually I speed right through these. I increase the playtime of these. But I wanted to get this one in there because I wanted to try and do something different. Again, this time not quite the same as what I did last video with the block inking, because it didn't work very well. So this time I've gone with something close to it, but not as adventurous, I guess you can say. You'll see in just a moment what I mean. Now, I didn't actually plan on doing this type of style, which just sort of come to me when I was inking. It's like, I don't want to use so much ink, because as you can see here, I'm using a lot of ink. And I was like, oh, these Copic markers are actually quite expensive. I don't really want to do a whole inking area and use up so much. So I go ahead and start sketching in some shading areas just as a guideline. And as I'm going through it, I think to myself, let's give this a try. So you've probably seen this style many times elsewhere. And I think I nailed it, actually. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. And the style I'm going for is, I believe it's called hatching, I think. So you go in and you do lots of little lines, lots of little lines. So I think I'm using the 0.3. Oh, that's 0.1, as you see just there, to go in with the first layer. And it might be the 0.05 I use afterwards. So I get two variants. So you go, I've gone in with the lighter one. You go, yeah, 0.05 this one is. So I've gone in with the thinner line with 0.5. And as I'm doing this, I'm starting to think to myself, they're a bit too close. So let's go full hatching. I think it's called hatching anyway, so correct me if I'm wrong. And it comes out even better than I thought it did. I'm very happy with this. This is a technique I would encourage a lot of people to use if they're just doing black and white. I'm just looking at it now. Let's see. I'm doing the voiceover for this as I'm watching it. I'm like, yeah, it looks good. I'm really happy with that. So this this part is just a quick whiz through because this is the second one. Now, this is where things go wrong very quickly. They go very wrong. I'm like, okay, I've got some new paper. Let's give it a try. So I'm still using the Winsor and Newton marker paper, which is what I've been using for the very start, and love it. I think it's great paper. It doesn't bleed at all. Doesn't matter how much you put on it, it just doesn't bleed. And I thought, let's compare this to the Ohuhu marker paper. And yeah, I reached for my pen and I'm like, okay, this is a number 9. It's what I used last time. Oh, hold on a second. This is too rich. This is very vibrant compared to the last one. And I'm just thinking to myself, hold on a minute. This isn't right. this is too vibrant. So I grab the blender tool from the Ohuhu set to try and lift some of that color off, and it doesn't do a good job. And I think to myself, hold on a minute. Hold on. I know I've got a marker that does a really good job of lifting ink off the paper and blending. Now, last year, it's about summertime, I bought a few, probably about 5 or 6 Winsor and Newton ones. You see, I've grabbed it here and remembered how well that actually diluted the ink on the paper. And this is where I start to have a little bit of fun with this, because this is a great example of blending and being able to lift ink. And oh look, I can paint with the what do you call it? Yeah, that pen there. The blending pen. And at the time I hadn't thought about this. I was going to do the whole boo this way. So all I'm doing is just lifting the ink up from where I put the big block on and just sort of like layering it up and making it look like almost sort of, I don't know, watercolor is. It's kind of like a watercolor effect. And I kind of liked it, to be honest. You see, there's so much ink there that went onto his hand that I'm able to lift it up with this blending pen from Winsor and Newton. And it just keeps going. So at this point, I'm just sort of like, I don't really want to damage the paper. I've not really gone to the extreme of damaging the paper. In fact, actually, I think that's why I actually stopped, because you can just see on the hand at the top there, the paper's starting to get really blotchy and it was starting to break apart. So like, okay, let's just cover the whole thing in pink and just see how it looks, because I wanted to put as much ink on here and compare the Ohuhu ink marker paper compared to the Winsor and Newton, because I know the Winsor and Newton works really well. The difference between two is that the Winsor and Newton one actually has a backing on them. You can only use one side of them, because the back side of them is almost like waxy. So if you try to draw on it or put markers on it, it's just not going to work very well. And I've not used marker card before, so I figured, well, this is a great opportunity to see the difference in them. So as you can see, this is where I'm like, oh, crying out loud. I compare the two, like, oh, got the wrong number 9, because the number 9 and number 6 on the Ohuhu markers is exactly the same. So I've gone, oh look, it's number 9 dark and a number 9 light. I should have used the light one for this. So the paper that I'm using here for this version is the Ohuhu marker card from their sketchbook. It's not quite A4. You can use it in A4. It's A4 in the book, but once you tear it out, it becomes just slightly less. So that's why this one looks it is sort of like smaller. It's not a smaller drawing, it just feels smaller because the paper / card is smaller. And this is my first time actually using alcohol markers on this type of medium, I guess you want to call it. Is that the right word? I don't know. It's been such a long time since I did art in school, that, you know, terminology and all that's just gone sort of like out of my head. So I'm just sort of like picking it back up again. Now, the first thing I noticed with this is that it is very nice card to use. It's got a nice texture to it. The Winsor and Newton paper is very, very smooth, whereas this, it feels like card. Essentially, you know, you can't, oh, it's card. Oh, excuse me. And as I did the same here with this one, I'm like just putting some Copic ink down and like, okay, this is absorbing the ink quite a lot. So I'm like, oh god, the ink shades are different. So I did make a boo-boo with there. You could probably pause that there to see the difference in the Copic and the other alcohol markers. I don't believe the Copic markers are alcohol based. I'm not entirely sure what base they are. So if you guys know, please let me know. But when I'm going through with these colors here, I'm noticing that it is very, oh, it's quite blotchy. This card absorbs the ink very quickly, very, very quickly. Unlike the Winsor and Newton, where you got the waxy back on there, although it absorbs it, it doesn't absorb it as quick as normal card does, because I believe that wax layer on the back is preventing that. So I'm sort of trying to sort of learn how to use this card at the same time while, you know, trying to make it work. And it kind of does. So I've actually got the right pink here, and yeah, good job there, me, for actually picking up the right one and not the wrong one. I was very concerned about picking up the wrong one with this. And this is the first pink set I bought back in October, I think it was. As you can see, it's very blotchy because it started to run out, unfortunately. This card was sort of like the death of this pen. Now, I did manage to get one more layer on it, because when you layer up on this, the second layer always goes on much better than the first layer. Now, I believe I've seen other people who use alcohol markers obviously go over it much slower than what I was with this. As you can see, I'm going over it pretty quick. I'm trying to sort of get through it. And as I'm just doing the arm here, I'm like, oh no, oh no. I even turned the pen over to try and get a little bit more ink out of it. No, it's dying. And yeah, I checked the nib a couple of times to see it is drying. That was the end of it. I wanted to do one more coat with this one, but unfortunately it just wasn't going to happen. So yeah, that's about 3 pens that are down. So now I've going into some shadowing using the roughly the same color. I would say this one's a little bit darker. This is an R9 from the Ohuhu brush set. And I would say it's roughly, it probably is the same color, but where my number 9 from the chisel and bullet nib set was running out, it came out a lot lighter. So had I'd gone over with the brush one first, I probably would have got the right color that I wanted and got a much more even spread of ink. But you know, lessons, you learn by them, don't you? And like I said with the last one, I don't mind the non-blockiness of it, and I sort of like getting it all really saturated. I really like seeing the stroke marks in it because it just adds a bit more variation to it. Excuse me, I've just had dinner and I'm sort of trying to digest it at the moment. But yeah, I'm slowly getting into using the Ohuhu brush pens, and yeah, I like them. I just wish you could buy them individually. I really do. But yeah, after sort of weighing up the pros and cons, yeah, the Ohuhus are cheaper, but you'll end up being replacing them more than other. But I'm surprised out of all of them. Yeah, just surprised how well this turned out, to be fair. The black alcohol one didn't come out as well as the one on the Winsor and Newton. That's the only two things here that are the same, is the black on both versions. The Winsor and Newton one came out really, really dark, but I think maybe because I may have put more layers on it, I can't really remember. This is the back shot, so you got the Ohuhu marker paper on the left and the Winsor and Newton on the right. Now the Winsor and Newton one does look like it has it bleeds right through, but I guarantee you there was nothing on the back of the paper afterwards. There was a few blotches from the black on the Ohuhu on my bit of paper underneath, but it was very, very minute, and you saw how much ink I put on that. So, you know, it really does depend on what you like using, whether you like using thinner paper or thicker paper. They both turned out pretty well. I wish I'd actually had time to go back and redo that boo on the Winsor and Newton one so we could compare the colors. But hey, this was more down to which one holds up the best, which one's going to fall apart the quickest. And I was quite surprised that the Ohuhu one, even though I put, I want to say, so I did 2 base, 1 shadow, or 2 shadows actually, so about four layers I think in some parts, and it held up fine. No, there you go. There's Lulu. I was trying to take these photos and I got the first one and I want to take a second one just in case, and then she's like, "Oi, human, oi, be with me." But overall, I think I did really well on this one, to be fair. It's going to be one of my favorite ones to do. I just wish my ink hadn't have run out. I'm going to have to go get some more at some point. But yeah, I'm really happy how the crosshatch, is it crosshatching? I think one came out. Really, really want to do that with all my other ones that I've inked, because it just adds so much more depth to it, and I'm kind of in love with that style now. So expect to see more of that in the future. How do you guys feel this turned out? I'm happy with it. I'm really happy. Kind of a little bit, I'm not annoyed actually with the really, really sunburnt pink boo that I did on the Winsor and Newton paper. Because it's like, it could have been a failure, but it wasn't, because I got to saturate the paper and see if it would bleed through, and it held out quite well. I'm very surprised. So yeah, what did you guys think? Do you like it? I do. I really, really like the Ohuhu marker paper. I'm going to be using more of that. I'm going to work my way through the rest of my Winsor and Newton. I think I've got about 100 pages left of that. But I think for like framing wise, the Ohuhu one came out really, really well. Obviously, you get that rigidity with that paper. So obviously, it's much thicker. It's not going to tear as easily as the Winsor and Newton one does. Winsor and Newton is sort of like, I would say it's slightly thicker than tissue paper, slightly. But it feels like it is reinforced with the wax back on it. I actually haven't actually tried to tear it, so I don't know how easily it will tear. Maybe I might do that in the next video just to see, like, saturate it and then tear it and see which one, see what happens. You guys want to see that? All these crazy ideas. But yeah, but thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. Let me know what you guys want to see me do in 2 weeks' time, actually. We've got one more to do, and then I'm done with the revived Vegeta versus Kid Buu fight. I've got a combination of Majin Vegeta versus Goku and Fat Buu. I've got Goku versus Cell. I've got Piccolo versus Cell and Android 17. I think that's about it for the time being. Yeah. Those are the ones I have at the moment in my library to go through and draw. So, yeah. If there's anything else you guys want to see from either of the series, or anything, maybe something that maybe may not be Dragon Ball, I'm getting slowly more confident in my abilities in producing something that isn't Dragon Ball orientated, because at the moment I'm just enjoying drawing. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Leave your comments and whatnot down below, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.